In this video, we're going to take a look at WordPress. Then we're going to log into a WordPress website, and then I'll do a dashboard overview where we go through all of the main areas of the dashboard. This is the WordPress.org website. There's WordPress.com also, but WordPress.com is a hosted for you version of WordPress, and the dashboard's quite a bit different. I don't use WordPress.com. I recommend self-hosting WordPress on your own servers and using your own domain. I've installed a new demo site for us to use for demonstration purposes today, and I've used a tool called Local WP from WP Engine, which is totally free and allows you to install WordPress locally on your own computer. So this is the home page of the demo site. This is the vanilla install of WordPress, which means this is how it looks out of the box. I have imported a little bit of content just so the website's not completely empty. So let's go and try logging into this site. So with any WordPress website, we go up to the address bar, we put wp-admin and hit enter. And that'll bring us to this login page. Now, I've already got the login saved, so admin's my username for this test install. Password field. You can select remember me, or you can save it up here in Chrome under manage your passwords, which I recommend because it stops you having to keep remembering your login details. You can also click on lost your password if you need to reset it. So here we are in the dashboard. This page is made up of a series of dashboard widgets. You can customize these, and depending on what plugins you have installed, these will differ. You'll have some extra ones for Yoast and other plugins like WooCommerce. So at the start, we've got a little introduction. This allows us to open up the customizer. If we click on that, we'll see we're now in the customizer mode, which has a load of settings. If we go back, we've got some suggestions: write your first blog post, add an about page, manage widgets, manage menus, turn comments on and off, and a tutorial guide. At a glance shows us how many posts and pages and comments we have. It's an overview of our content. It shows us we're running WordPress 5.3.2, and we've got the 2020 theme installed, which is currently the default theme. We have an activity box. Just shows the latest posts here, quick draft, and an events and news feed box from WordPress. Most of these you're not really going to be using, but it does give you a good overview. If we look through the left-hand menu, we'll find all of the different areas of the WordPress dashboard. Now, your dashboard might look a little bit different to this depending on which themes and plugins you have installed. Keep in mind, this is a vanilla install out of the box at the moment. So there's an updates page. If there are updates to do to plugins and themes, then they will appear here. You can also update WordPress, check again, see if there's a newer version, and you can reinstall it now if you've got any issues. The next section is posts. If we click on posts, that takes us to the all posts. So rather than having to go hover and across and click, if you just click on media, it'll take us to this first one in the list. So we're on all posts. This screen shows us an overview of all of the posts that have been published and drafted so far. You can also see the other criteria like the authors, any categories and other taxonomies like tags, comments, and the date, so you can order it in different ways. When you hover any of these items, you'll see edit, quick edit, trash, and view appears. And if we go to edit one, for example, you'll see that's currently loading the page with the Gutenberg editor. Editing posts will be covered in a separate video, so I'm going to head back to the all post screen. From here you can also select all, and you can choose to trash, edit them in bulk. So if we go to edit in bulk, then you'll see we can do things here like assign this category to all, change tags, change authors, rather than editing each one individually. If we go to Add New, you see this opens the blank page to start a new post. If we go to Categories, you'll see we can create new categories to organize our content. And we have categorized already there on the sidebar. The same for tags. Personally, I don't use tags very often. You'd have to have a lot of content to justify needing tags in addition to categories, unless you have a very bespoke type of site. Next we have media. This is the media library. You can see I've currently just got 3 arbitrary images in here. You can also change the list into a list view as opposed to grid. You can search for images using the name up here. Go to Add New. You'll see we can select files by clicking this button, or we can just drag and drop images directly into this area surrounded by the dotted border. If we go to Pages and All Pages, you'll see this is the stock content that I imported just so I had a little bit of content to work with. This overview page is very familiar. It's the same as obviously with the posts, so you have that consistent user experience when you're editing different types of content in WordPress. And if we go to Add New, again you'll see another consistent experience. Next we'll go to the comments. You'll see there's a default comment here from WordPress. I could just delete that if I wanted. I don't tend to use comments all of the time. In some blogs they are worth having, but it's still a lot of maintenance sometimes to be replying and editing comments. Appearance. This section contains lots of customizations. So first is themes. You can see the 2020 theme active here, 2019, 17 and 16 also installed. If you want to add a new theme, you can just click on Add New at the top here, and you can browse through all of the free themes on the WordPress repository, or you can go to upload a theme from your computer. If you've got a premium theme that you've purchased, then you'll be uploading this theme using this tool here. You'll see you can also browse through the available themes on the repository by just going through these sections here, searching by username, latest, popular and featured. You can also go to the feature filter and get a bit more specific about the type of blog you're looking for. I personally use the same theme every time, which gives me a blank canvas, so I don't often come in here looking for new theme designs. I'd rather customize one myself. But for other people, this is a great way to try out different themes. If we go over to the Customize, this takes us back into the Customizer we saw earlier. We can change things like site identity, so themes that support a logo option here will allow you to add the logo, change the site title that shows at the top here, as well as the tagline. You can also opt to use the retina sized logo, and you can add a site icon, also known as a favicon. Favicon is these icons here, so there's WP Engines, there's WordPress, here's the default one because we don't have one assigned yet. Most themes allow us also to have some sort of color adjustments. Some other theme options that are available in 2020, show the search in the header or not. As you can see, that removes it. Cover templates, background image, assign which menus, widgets, they're in the footer, these areas here, homepage settings, your latest post versus static page, and a box for additional CSS. In most cases, in the builds I use, I only make a few adjustments within the customizer. If we go out of here, click OK. We'll go down to widgets. On widgets you can see lots of different widgets available for us to use on the left hand side, and you see with this particular theme, out of the box we have 2 widgetized areas, footer 1 and 2, and you can fill those up. Years ago widgets were a prominent part of the WordPress ecosystem, But these days, since page builders have become popular, they're not as popular anymore, because you can replace these with Beaver Builder modules, Elementor modules, and they're far more flexible. We go over to menus. You'll see here you can create a menu, new menu, create a menu, assign some pages. There you've got a menu with 3 links. If you wanted to make one a drop down, it's as simple as indenting it. There'll be a more in-depth video on menus later. Go to background. This theme obviously allows us to have a custom background, and so brings us into the customizer. Theme editor. This allows you to access the code the theme runs on, but as you can see, a warning shows recommending that you don't make changes here, because if this is ever updated, those changes will be lost anyway. We go over to plugins. You can see on this particular install, there is only one plugin, the WordPress importer. In other videos, I'll be looking at more plugins, so we'll review this page again. If we go to add new, we'll be able to see, the recommended and most popular plugins. You can search for plugins by name. You can also look at the most popular plugins, recommended, favorites, and you can search usernames. So you can see there's a lot of plugins that you can use to add additional functionality, though I definitely don't recommend installing too many or more than you need. If we have a look at the plugin editor, much like the theme editor, this is a page that we want to avoid because we can essentially break the website. Okay, so let's go over to users and all users. As you can see, I'm the only user on this install right now. I go to edit my account. You can see this is how I access all of the information. My bio, that would be visible on the front end. I can put a nice name in, and then I can choose my public display name to be a nice name instead, so David. And then you can change that there. And update profile. Go to tools. You'll see we've got an import tool, which allows us to import from various different website tools, including WordPress sites. So I imported the demo content for this website using this WordPress importer. Equally, we can export posts, pages, media. If you have other content types, you will also be able to export those. You can do a health check and just do a quick run to see if there's any issues. Export personal data and erase personal data. These are 2 GDPR and modern privacy focused features to help you in removing your visitors and customers' data from your website. A useful feature of the dashboard that most people aren't aware of is the screen options button. If we look at the top of the dashboard here in the top right hand corner, you can see screen options, and if I click it, you'll see that we can actually hide any of these widgets that we don't need. If we go over to another section of the website like posts, if we go to screen options here, we'll see that we can hide certain columns. So we could hide comments if they're of no use. We can hide tags. This allows us to clean the interface up so it's more user friendly. If we take a look at the edit post screen, you'll also see screen options in the top right, but only if we are not using the new Gutenberg editor. If you're using the classic editor, you will have screen options. If you aren't, then you won't. These won't be available. So you can see hide post attributes, hide tags, things that aren't necessary. It just cleans up the interface, so less distractions. Ideal if you've got other people accessing the website and updating content. It's also worth taking a look at the toolbar at the top. This toolbar is only visible once you're logged in, but as you can see, if we go to visit website, this toolbar remains across the top. And as you can see, if we hover the name of the website, demo site, we can get back to the dashboard, certain areas like themes, widgets, menus. We can get into the customizer. We can see a notice of comments here. We can create new post, media, page and user because we're on the home page. If Beaver Builder was installed or Elementor, then we would have another option on here, and the same for other plugins. They'll add more capabilities to this toolbar. If we go up to the username howdyadmin and we log out, that'll take us to the login screen again. If we go back to demo site, you'll see that toolbar is no longer visible. In later videos, we will take a look at the toolbar again to see how it works with Beaver Builder and Elementor.